Welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. I'm so glad you're here with me today because I have some really fun projects. In today's episode, I'm taking this little thrifted sleigh and I'm going to give it a makeover. I guess this is more of a sled, but I do some embellishing on it and give it a totally new look. It's going to look really great. I'm also taking a Dollar Tree wood cut out of a Christmas tree and giving it some fun different embellishments, adding a few snowflakes here and there to make a really cute shelf sitter. I am also going to show you how you can take average calendar pages, either from Dollar Tree calendars or other calendar pages that you might be saving or pick up in thrift stores, and take those and make beautiful signs. This is something that you could use all year long. I'm going to do a Christmas sign today, but you really can use this all year long, so it's definitely worth watching. I hope you guys stay around and see all of these fun projects today. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing. If you do like any of the projects in today's video, remember to hit that thumbs up, but let's go make some DIYs. I've been hanging on to this little sled that I found at a thrift store, and it's a darling shape, but as you can see, the design was probably very cute at one time, kind of a little folk artish, and it is scrapable. Like, it's coming off, it's flaking pretty good. So I take my paint scraper and I'm just going to scrape it off a little bit just to try and get that design off. So I have to sand just a little bit, not much, but I'm just going to flake that off because I don't want my paint that I put over it to start flaking off. So you definitely want to take care of that if there is any like flaking or anything like that. Now the edge of the sled was actually pretty good, so I just really focused on that design where that was and I'm not sure if that design was painted on there or if it was put on with some different type of method or something, because it was just the design that was flaking off. I removed the raffia and now I'm just going to paint this in my base color, and I'm just painting the top portion of the sled. I'm going to paint it just this white color. This is a Waverly chalk paint that I'm using, and I just give it a couple of coats is what it takes to get the full coverage that I need. Now the runners on the sled, they were very kind of like a really brassy orangey color of that wood, and I wanted to tone it down. I didn't really want to have to do a lot of sanding because there's a lot of angles to get on it. So I just took some antiquing wax with a brush and just went over completely and then dried it with my heat gun, and it actually gave it a very wonderful tone to it. And I'm just painting that little front portion of the sled there to match. And now for the fun part of embellishing this. I picked these darling Christmas tree napkins up at Home Goods. I got them this year, 2023. So depending on when you're watching that, they're very cute. I was a little disappointed though. I thought this little edge, I didn't realize it was going to be fringy. It's very cute as a napkin, but really that edge is pretty much worthless if you're using it to decoupage with, because sometimes I love the scalloped edge to add along things. So I was kind of a little disappointed with that. But as you can see on one napkin, you get 4 beautiful Christmas tree images to work with. So definitely worth the investment on these napkins. So I just peeled them apart because they'll be in 2 or 3 layers. So you just want to make sure you have the topmost layer. And then using a brush with water, I go around the design and then tear off the edges so you have a natural raw edge to that napkin. So I just place some Mod Podge down on the sled, and now I'm gently going to place the design down, and I'm going to start from the middle and work my way out with my fingers. Now I know a lot of you use a technique where you let the Mod Podge dry and you heat up like an iron or something. That would be this would be something perfect you could do with that. I've never tried this technique, so I just need to get brave and try it. But honestly, this is such a small section that I'm working with that I didn't have any problems with wrinkling or anything. And you can see when I get to that edge and press that down, it really just disappears into that paint color, that white paint. And you really cannot see that, especially once I go over the top like I am now with another layer of Mod Podge, just making sure that you seal that napkin in so that way you're not going to have any water damage, discoloration, or anything happening to that. Now I thought it would be fun to go around the edge with just a little bit of antiquing wax to make a little definition on the edge of the sleigh there. Totally optional. It just kind of depends on the style that you're going for. But you can even sand around the edge. But I really feel like giving it some type of definition on that edge kind of elevates it to another level. Now I'm taking some twine and I'm going to tie this at the top of the sleigh, almost as if that was like what you were holding on to if you were riding the sleigh. But I thought it would be fun to add some rusted bells. Now you can make your own rusted bells, either using vinegar to soak them in or using the Mod Podge and cinnamon technique. These I just picked up at Hobby Lobby in a tube of them. There's probably 20 or so jingle bells in there for just a couple of dollars. So definitely worth the investment if you plan on using them all throughout the season, which I have done. Now I wanted to hang them to be at different angles, and I kind of will set my sleigh up and determine where I want to tie these off at, because I don't want them to be so far apart. I want it to look kind of like a natural lopsidedness. I know that doesn't really make the most sense, but hopefully you can see exactly what I mean here. When I set this up here, I realized that that other jingle bell is much lower, so I do untie it and just raise it up a little bit and tie it on again. So when you're working on projects, it's just kind of important to step back or set it up or look at it from a different angle and kind of get a different point of view to see if you want to fix or change anything. I do take my scissors and just snip off that extra little twine where I tied those and just put a little dot of glue on each of them to seal that knot so it's not going to come undone. You don't want a big glob of glue, so just a little bit works, and let that dry and you'll be good to go. Whenever you're creating something, always take a look at it and see if you feel like it needs a little something extra. It's totally a matter of personal preference on if you feel like it does or not. I felt like the top of it was a little bit bland looking, and so I just wrapped some twine around my finger maybe 10 times and just made what you call like a finger bow. You just make the loops and then you tie another piece of twine right in the middle, or ribbon, or whatever you're working with. You tie it off in the middle and it's going to look like it has been tied that way. And then just using a little dot of glue there, I'm going to glue this on, and I have just a couple of little of the twine tails falling down there. Now you could easily add like a button or something on the top of the twine there, would be really cute. As I got looking at it, I had a little bit of extra greenery by me, and so I do end up putting some greenery on here. I'm just spraying those little tassels or the ends with some water in my mister bottle there, and that's just going to help them lay a little bit more flat and not be so like skiwampas hanging all the different ways. So here I'm just going to glue just a little bit of greenery. It's just some little leftover pieces that I had that I just clipped a little bit off of, and I'm just gluing that underneath the bow on each side just to bring a little bit more greenery in there. I thought it looked really lovely to have the green tree on the base of the sled and then have that greenery at the top. Here is this project all completed, and I am really happy with how this came out. I think it's beautiful. It will be a perfect shelf sitter throughout the season on a tiered tray. And this is something that you can do. You find these little sleds everywhere. I mean, at Dollar Tree, they have a little bit smaller ones. Like I said, I found this at a thrift store. I've seen them all over. That they shouldn't be too hard to find, and they're so easy to create and make them to match your decor. What do you guys think of this? Are you a fan of it? I love that Dollar Tree carries these Christmas tree cutouts because they're so fun to do different projects with. So I have a few of these in my stash. So I just picked one up, and I'm just going to place this on a little piece of cardboard, and I fill the little hole with some hot glue and scrape that off. So that way it takes care of that. There's not going to be that hole. You're not going to see that anymore. I picked this napkin up. I found these at Home Goods. That's where I get a lot of my napkins because they always have such a good selection. If you have any other tips on places to look for napkins, I do like the Dollar Tree ones. I feel like the Home Good ones are a little bit higher quality, so I feel like they're a little easier to work with and they tear a lot less than the ones from like Dollar Tree or Dollar General. But you can still find some really cute ones there. But if you have any other suggestions, let me know down in the comments on where to look for fun napkin designs. Now I'm just placing some Mod Podge down on the sign here. That's going to give us a good base to place this napkin down on. And this napkin does the pattern kind of where the napkin folds in half. The Christmas trees kind of change a different angle on there. So you can see on the top half of the tree, it looks like they're upside down on the bottom half of the tree. It's just the way the napkin is. There's no getting around it. So I just decided to embrace it, and we're good to go. I'm just using my hand and my fingers to work from the middle out to spread that napkin down and make sure that it has a firm hold. And then I'm going to go around the edge with a fingernail file here and gently file back that napkin. Now I have this vellum in my scrapbook stash that looks like music, like sheet music, music notes, and I thought it would be really pretty to layer on top of this napkin. So I'm just placing down some more Mod Podge, and honestly, I wish I had done... I kind of go back and forth on this. I wish I had just done some Elmer's glue, like the glue stick on this. I was trying to stick with Mod Podge for this particular design. It does wrinkle this up quite well, and it actually works to my favor. So it kind of depends on the look you're going for. If you want this vellum to lay flat, definitely use a glue stick that like disappears. I love the purple glue, Elmer's glue stick, but it worked fine for what I end up doing with it. So I embraced all of the wrinkles that come with this, and I'm just, you can see, getting a little bit of the scrap paper that was left over to cover the parts of the tree where the paper did not reach. And then I just trim that up with my scissors. Now I'm taking some antiquing wax and I'm going to rub over this. It's going to age it a bit. And this is when I realized that the wrinkles actually are going to be a good thing because I can highlight those. And I'm just taking one of these, this is like an antiquing stamp pad here that I have, and I'm rubbing it over all of those wrinkles, and you can see it's going to highlight all of those. So it's just giving it an extra aged look, which I really did end up liking. Now I have this little snowflake hanging thing there that I got the first snowflake from. It came from Dollar Tree. All of these actually came from Dollar Tree. So I'm just taking some different sizes and shapes of different snowflakes to put on here. A bunch of snowflakes would look really cute if you wanted to do a whole grouping of them instead of what I end up doing. So just keep that in mind. But I stain one with antiquing wax and the other two I decided to paint white. And since it's Christmas time, I thought it would be really fun to add glitter, because at Christmas time I like glitter. Just a little bit, not a ton, but I thought it would be fun. So I just put some Mod Podge over the top, sprinkled that glitter on. You can see on the little bottom one here, I'm just putting it on, and then I'm just dumping this glitter on. It's just glitter I picked up at Walmart. There's all sorts of different sizes, different colors. I just love the real icy looking type of glitter. Just a little shimmer here and there. I don't love it all over my house, but it really is kind of fun to add a little sparkle to some different projects. Now this came in a package of like 10 from Hobby Lobby. It was in the wedding section. It's like a place setting for like a dinner table. And I'm using the back side of it that I stained to make this little sign. And I have these little letters that I bought from somebody who cuts letters, like sells wooden alphabets. So you can, I just found them locally, but you can check like your craft fairs, Etsy, different places that will sell wood cutouts. Ask them if they'll do an alphabet for you, or see if they sell alphabets for you. Pick up something at Dollar Tree, use stickers. There's so many different options. I just happen to have the letters that spelled out Noel, so that's what I'm using here. And I went around the sign to add a little bit of embellishment with a paint marker. Just kind of add a little something. It looked a little plain just to have the Noel on there. So I'm just deciding where I want to place all of these snowflakes and where I want to glue them and where I want the sign. This is where it would be really cute, as I mentioned earlier, to have like several different snowflakes in different, more antique wax and some more of the sparkly ones, maybe non-sparkly ones or silver or gold, and just do a whole array of snowflakes on here rather than having the cute little sign on there. It's just a matter of personal preference. Make it your own. I'm just here to inspire you, so definitely do what you can or what you like. If there's something you don't like, that's totally fine. Just change it to be something that you do like. I felt like it needed a little extra texture of something to break up all of that wood pieces that I had glued there. So I just made a little finger bow out of twine. Just a couple loops was all that took. And I'm just going to tie that down the middle, and I will just glue that right at the corner top of the Noel sign, just with a little teeny bit of hot glue just to bring that in there. Now, if you had something else you wanted to use instead of a bow, I know I add a lot of bows to things. That would be great too. Now, I thought I'd tie that twine in by on the trunk of the tree, wrapping that around several times very tightly. Kind of breaks up, makes it look like it's maybe tied in burlap or something like that. And along the back, I'm just going to do a strip of hot glue at the top and the bottom just to lay those pieces down, and that's going to hold that twine in place. In that package of the small snowflakes, there were these gold stars, and I thought it would be darling to add that to the top there. So it does come with a little sticky foam piece there, but you definitely want to add some glue if you want it to be permanent. So just by adding a little bit of glue, I add that to the top, and that just really adds a little extra level of sparkle and something to the top of the tree. And how cute would this be, layered with some really fun Christmas dishes, like on your shelf or your china hutch, something like that. I feel that it's flat. You could add a little something on it to hang it somewhere or put it inside like a wreath on your door, but it's flat enough that you'd be able just to kind of tuck it in somewhere, so it just has that really rustic Christmas feel that it's going to bring into your decor. Now, this is such a fun and easy project, and you're just going to use calendar pages. Now, I'm showing you the Dollar Tree calendar page, as well as this is just a calendar. I actually have my mom save all of her old calendars for me because she has such fun different designs on them. And this is to show you, you can use any type of calendar, check your thrift stores for them. If you have like a friend that you see has a really cute calendar, ask them what they do with it at the end of the year, if you could possibly have it. A lot of times they're more than happy to give them to you if you're going to make something fun out of them. So I'm just taking a sign that I had from Hobby Lobby that I purchased on clearance, and I did have to place a little bit of scrapbook paper in the top and the bottom to fill in just a little bit of a gap because it was not completely the size of my calendar page, which is totally fine. You're just going to cut it down to size to fit. Sometimes you'll worry about, oh, I'm going to cut part of the design off. It looks fine in the end. You're just going to work with what you have. So you can see I'm just going to place this down. I just put a layer of Mod Podge down. Now this particular calendar page was a lot thicker than the Dollar Tree calendar pages if you've worked with those. So it was almost like cardstock consistency, like a shiny cardstock consistency. So it was really nice to work with. I wasn't going to have a lot of wrinkles, but I do end up having to use some of the purple Elmer's glue stick on the edges to help them completely stay down. So I'm just using that as a different alternative to the Mod Podge to make sure that you keep that edge down flat. So I'll show you that here in just a moment. I'm just using some saran wrap right here. That just helps, or plastic wrap. It just helps get all of any bubbles or wrinkles out without using your fingers that would maybe snag or rip a design or something like that. This is just a quick reminder that today's video is part of a collaboration. Remember to hit that playlist link in my description box or that's pinned in my comments. You'll be able to see all the fun decoupage creations that these lovely ladies made. But here's where I add that glue stick just to make sure, sorry for my hair getting in there, but this is just going to make sure that that edge is down because I kept noticing it like wanting to roll back up with the Mod Podge, and this stuff is magic. You know that I love to work with this medium much more than I do actual Mod Podge, but for the nature of this particular video, I'm using Mod Podge in a lot of my crafts. So I'm just taking some antiquing wax on a brush. And this is going to hide any edge. If maybe you had an uneven cut or didn't maybe quite meet, you're going to do your best to have even cuts and meet the edge of your project that you're working with. But this is going to disguise if there's any imperfections. So I'm just going around the edge. This is also going to create almost like a frame or vignette to help focus your eye into the middle of the design. And you're just going to pounce up and down. And I end up with what's left on the brush going over the entire design. This just adds a little bit of extra embellishment. You could even go over with some Mod Podge on the little snow and sprinkle some glitter if you wanted to add a little bit of extra shine. That would be so cute too. But you can see how it just kind of adds a little bit more of an aged look. This is a beautiful sign. I mean, you could sell this if you had a craft booth. And you can see how fun it is to look for all the different, think of all the different calendar pages you've seen over the course of your life and how fun some of those designs are and how they literally are works of art. And they're so fun to work with, and it makes this beautiful sign. It's a quick project, it's an easy project, and man, it makes such an impact. Have you guys worked with calendar pages before? I'd love to know what you guys made with them. I couldn't be happier with these items. I feel like they all turned out so beautifully. I really do love using the decoupage technique and using different items of paper, of napkins, tissue paper, different things like that to create beautiful works of art to go into your home. Do you guys have a favorite project from today's video, or would you, if you had to pick one of these to place in your home, which item would you pick? I feel like they're all going to be such a lovely addition to my Christmas decor. If you have any tips on where to look for beautiful napkins to use for these techniques, definitely let me know. I'm always on the lookout for places to get great napkins with really beautiful designs. Remember that this video is part of a collaboration, which means that linked in my description box and pinned in my comments is going to be the playlist. If you'll just click on that, it's going to take you right over. You're going to watch all of the beautiful creations that all of the other ladies in the collaboration have made for you. You'll have so much fun Christmas napkin and decoupage inspiration. Thank you so much for watching today, you guys. I'll see you next time. Happy crafting! If you like the video that you just saw and you want to keep crafting together, here's another video that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.